Hi, I'm Jérémy.
And I'm Ben.
Together we're 15 degrees now.
Today we're going to show you the sights and sounds of Cyprus.
Cyprus is an island in the Mediterranean, south of Turkey and not far from the Levant, officially a part of Western Asia.
A member of the European Union, it is the only member of the bloc not to be situated actually in Europe.
Historically, Cyprus has a lot of similarities to many of the Greek islands, but its proximity to Turkey also means that it has a lot of influence from there too.
This balance between the two cultures came to a head in the 1970s, when the northern part of the island was occupied by Turkish forces, creating a border between the two halves, a situation that remains unresolved to this day.
We'll be looking at northern Cyprus later in the video, but first let's look at the southern portion, which couldn't be more like the classic holiday resort on the Med, with glorious beaches, rocky coastline and stunning pale blue waters.
We were visiting in February, but even then it was 20 degrees every day and had glorious sunshine.
It made for a wonderful break from the constant rain back home.
Cape Greco is one of the island's most beautiful spots, which is close to the resort town Larnaca.
Larnaca is another resort with a historic old town, lots of bars and restaurants, a massive beach and plenty of glorious sunshine.
For a lot of people, this is what they want from a holiday, which is fine, and Cyprus has plenty of these perfect resorts for relaxing breaks in the sun. Larnaca, Larnaca, Limassol, Paphos.
Some of these are actually pretty big cities, Limassol especially, but these coastal towns have economies that revolve around tourism, which equates for 14% of the entire country's GDP.
And because Cyprus was a part of the British Empire, it also means that English is very widely spoken on the island, making it perfect for our favourite type of traveller, Brits abroad.
Now, that's not to undermine Cyprus. This is a beautiful island, but there are definitely spots that feel like modern British colonies when there are so many sun-seeking retired expats living here.
There are also some British military bases too, which are officially British overseas territories, so the influence of the UK is very clear and ongoing here.
Just inside one of these British territories is the ancient city of Kourion.
There are a few of these archaeological sites you can visit, but we chose Kourion because our research suggested that it has the most complete remains.
Founded in the 12th century BCE, this Greek city-state was occupied for 2 millennia, first by the Greeks and then by the Romans.
Today you can wander through what remains of the ancient streets, villas and temples, as well as the extensive Roman bath.
The city had to be rebuilt several times following numerous earthquakes over the centuries, but it was finally abandoned in the 7th century CE following Arab raids that destroyed its acropolis.
Its remains were then forgotten before their rediscovery in the 19th century, and archaeological digs have been slowly taking place ever since.
There are plenty of Roman remains, Greek remains, all sorts of archaeological sites here in Cyprus, and I'm here for it because I love ancient history.
The biggest myth associated with Cyprus is the birth of Aphrodite.
Aphrodite was born right there, from that rock.
Goddess of love!
It's a beautiful spot, reflecting a beautiful Greek legend. The mother of Aphrodite tasked her son to mutilate his father, so he chopped off his testicles and threw them into the sea. Aphrodite was then born from the foam created when his genitals hit the walls.
That is not a beautiful legend, that is a disgusting legend.
Well, there was plenty of foam around the rocks when we saw them, so clearly the myth is true. It also said that anyone who swims around the rock will be rewarded with eternal beauty.
Hold my drink.
Well, the sea around that rock is not quite safe to swim in.
But I want eternal beauty.
Well, you already have it, love.
Do you mean that?
No, best get swimming.
Next, we visit Paphos, which is probably Cyprus's most famous tourist spot.
People often ask which side of the island to visit. Larnaca or Paphos, so we'll let you decide which you think looks better.
If you fly to Larnaca, you'll get Cape Greco, the ruined Greek cities, and easy access to northern Cyprus.
Whereas if you fly into Paphos, you'll get the rugged coastline, including the Akama Peninsula and the mountainous interior.
In Paphos, there is also the fascinating archaeological site, the Tombs of the Kings.
This vast necropolis is a UNESCO World Heritage Site dating between the 4th century BCE and the 3rd CE.
The tombs are cut into the bedrock, with many featuring Doric columns and frescoed walls.
While it may be that no actual kings are buried in the Tombs of the Kings,
Scandalous.
it is also possible that the final king of Cyprus, who killed himself at the start of the Roman occupation, is buried here.
So really it should just be called the Tomb of a King.
Or the tombs, including the kings.
Up the coast is the Akama Peninsula, which is a nature reserve completely cut off from the island's road network.
Rocky and mountainous, it is a firm favourite with islanders who love to come and see its unspoiled countryside and abundant wildlife.
We walked the Aphrodite and Adonis trails, which took us high into the mountains.
And just up the coast is Cyprus' most modern landmark, the shipwreck of the Adro III.
Running aground in high seas in 2011, the Sierra Leonean cargo ship was abandoned and remains wedged on the rocks to this day.
You can't visit the ship itself, but the view onto it does make for the most gorgeous sunset spot.
The interior of the island is rugged and full of mountains.
The most beautiful region of this is the Troodos National Park, where there are numerous walking trails that you can explore.
With pine forests and steep slopes, this is a walker's paradise, with stunning countryside interspersed with quaint mountain villages, many of which have vineyards and produce their own wine.
The region is also known for its painted churches, 10 of which have been recognized by UNESCO.
These Byzantine churches and monasteries date from the Middle Ages and have been preserved perfectly, with their vibrant murals a massive draw to art enthusiasts from around the world.
And where better is there to watch the sunset from this James Bond-esque observatory sitting at the top of a mountain?
Nicosia is the capital of Cyprus and has been for 5,500 years.
That's a long time. The walled city maybe doesn't have the same pizzazz about it as other spots on the island, but its most interesting feature is that it sits right on the border with northern Cyprus.
When Cyprus became independent of British rule in 1960, intercommunal violence broke out between the Greek and Turkish communities on the island.
While these communities had originally been living side by side, they soon galvanized into two distinct areas, with those that supported a union with Greece in the south and those that wanted the same but with Turkey in the north.
This was reflected in Nicosia too, and when Turkey invaded the island in 1974 following a Greek-supported coup, the island divided in two.
Cyprus, the internationally recognized country, sits to the south, and the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus sits to the north, which is only recognized by Turkey. Okay, so we're now in North Nicosia, which was really easy to cross from South Nicosia. Just have your passport ready, and that's it, really.
It's nice on this side, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different. It's a bit more authentic.
It's got a nice...
It feels very Turkish.
Yeah, it's got a nice vibe about it.
Yeah, it's lovely. I like that.
And the architecture of this side's pretty too.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah, I love it.
Essentially, northern Cyprus is an occupied territory separated by the Green Line, a demilitarized zone administered by the UN.
And in Nicosia, the city is literally divided in two, like Berlin during the Cold War.
A crossing was opened between the two sides in 2003, which you need your passport to cross, but the two sides of the line feel completely different from each other.
South Nicosia feels like a European city, but North Nicosia feels distinctly Eastern, with bazaars, mosques and distinctly Turkish influences all over the city.
Kyrenia is Cyprus's most complete medieval city, which sits on the northern coast.
Its harbour has long been one of the island's most significant ports, which was fortified by the Romans and then expanded by the Venetians.
It was really fascinating to compare this coastal town to the others we had seen on the island.
Until that point, we had very much thought that Cyprus closely resembled the Greek islands, but here, well, it resembled Turkey.
We thought we would come away from this trip on one side or other of this debate, but we actually found ourselves understanding both sides.
Which is probably why the Cyprus problem remains unresolved to this day.
There is nowhere that has seen the impact of the Cyprus problem more than Famagusta.
On its outskirts was a resort town called Varosha, which was abandoned during the Turkish invasion.
I've been fascinated by this town for years since I discovered it on a deep dive in the internet somewhere, like in a YouTube spiral. And the idea of a completely abandoned town that used to be a bustling holiday resort and is now just a military zone. They've recently only just opened it up a couple of years ago so the public can actually walk around it. But basically you're only allowed on a couple of paths and you can't go down the little side streets. But it's really interesting to see it up close.
Prior to this, Varosha was the #1 destination in Cyprus and was actually one of the most popular tourist spots in the entire world.
A favourite of the rich and famous, including celebrities such as Elizabeth Taylor and Brigitte Bardot, it had been inhabited by Greek Cypriots.
But almost overnight, the entire population had to flee south, leaving the town abandoned.
The town sits within the Green Line, so it was sealed by the Turkish army. The UN has also ruled that nobody is allowed to live in Varosha other than its original inhabitants. And since all of these now live in the south of the island, the town remains uninhabited to this day.
It is only in recent years that the site has become open for tourists to visit.
It's free to enter and you can hire a bike to cycle the city's main thoroughfares.
However, armed guards are patrolling every junction and there are sections you are forbidden from photographing.
It's a surreal place where you can see exactly what happens when humans' habitation is abandoned to the elements for 50 years.
It's a weird atmosphere, isn't
It was
it?
quite eerie, yeah. It was
Yeah.
interesting though.
And just like big wire fences on the sides
Oh,
and
yeah.
signs. Weird to think how it must have been in the past.
Yeah, it would have been quite cool actually back then.
It feels like you're in a dystopian post-apocalyptic zombie movie because Mother Nature really has reclaimed this town, with flora and fauna taking back this previously sprawling resort.
So we've come to the end of our trip to Cyprus, but we've really enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, it was amazing actually.
We came with pretty low expectations.
Yeah.
We thought it would just be like another Greek island, really. But
The weather's been fantastic for February.
well, yeah, quite.
Can't complain.
And we've had a fantastic time there's lots to see. Like there really is a
Yeah,
lot
it's a big island,
crammed
isn't
into
it?
such a small space.
Yeah.
So come and see the Cypriot sunsets for yourself.